this this series, the Zemsky maker made a very timely decision to do this series. Well, I think most of the people in the Zoom today, I think live in the United States, right? That's my impression. And I myself, I have a high school diploma from the States, and I did all my psychiatric training in the United States. So I have 6 years of being living in the States, and I visit often. My oldest son is an American citizen. Why am I saying this? Because I decided that, like Jeff said last week about the gravity of the times we're living now, right? Since this administration started, I can say that due to the importance of the United States in the world, we are not living any more normal times. Those are not normal times. And then I think that's one of the things that I throw to the group so that we can talk in breakout rooms or after. Uh, at least for us, making it simple, at least for us in the climate crisis field, I think what's happening shows us that who is mostly responsible for the climate crisis are the greedy enterprises and some billionaires who only think about short-term profits. This is not new, but this is very in the open now, right? So also in Brazil, like I even said last week, in Brazil, the last corrupt government we had, it allowed the deforestation of the Amazon break records. So now we are trying to undo some of the harm that was done. So I think the fact that we can meet and right now, due to the situation, we need multiple sanghas. We need support groups, and this sangha here is doing, to me, it's doing very well. I can tell you after how I think I have improved in details about taking care of the things around me in an ecological way, right? And also, preparing for today, I read some good news. Some of you live in Colorado, and I think maybe you even attended. But this past week, Bernie Sanders and AOC, they gathered a group of more than 34,000 people in Denver. 34,000 people. Bernie Sanders said this was his biggest meeting ever he attended. And also, I read that a month ago, February, more than 2,000 protests were staged in the USA. So it's very important. I think for me, it was very important to know that people are getting mobilized to take care of our planet, to take care of our society, of our deep values that we cherish so much. I even listened to Sanders a little bit, and he mentions climate crisis, but in my opinion, not enough. I think the green agenda can be a bridge between this polarized politics that we have. And as an important politician said, we don't have red water or blue water. We only have clean water. So we have to pay attention to that. But coming back to now, I'm finished the introduction. We can say that climate activism has two dimensions. First, the more broad aspect of raising public consciousness about the urgency of our situation so that we can take measures at the appropriate political level, right? The second aspect is what are we doing in our personal lives? How are we trying to influence or not our relatives, our friends, our community about being more ecologically minded? So we want in this meeting to address those two dimensions, the broad political one and the more personal one. Olga is a psychiatrist who, for the past 10 years, has been studying the influence of climate changes in our physical and mental health. She will show a PowerPoint summarizing the recent evidence about this field. So we'll have important information at our disposal to use it when we think it's necessary. Olga, please, it's your turn now.
I thank you for being there. I'm sorry for the volume of my sound. People have told me that it's low, so I ask you to please turn your volume a little bit up. There was nothing I could do. Thank you, David. You are listening. Good. And second, I want you to forgive my English. It's the kind of, I lived for 6 years almost in the States, but now I speak less and less English, as I travel less, also because of my concern with the footprint of traveling by air. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that probably you know all the information I'm going to give. It's just a summary that is meant to organize our thoughts about why it is so important to have in mind what we need for planetary health. And I'll try to explain to you what we mean by planetary health in this international movement I am part of, as Chloe said. I'm going to share my PowerPoint, and I want to thank a Zen peacemaker, a local Zen peacemaker that helped me make it more beautiful than it was. And it's like wearing a new dress, when you have a PowerPoint that you're used to present, and then it changes. So I'll be interested in having your return to give to him. Fafa Flores is his name, and I thank him for this adventure that he has introduced in my life. Okay. Okay, everybody seeing my presentation? Good. David helps me a lot saying yes and no. Thank you, David. Okay, so Chloe presented me already. So this is the epoch we are living in. We call it Anthropocene. There is a big discussion among geologists. It's not really a geological epoch because it doesn't come from within Earth. It comes from up Earth. We, the humans, have completely changed the face of Earth through consumption mainly. That has all kinds of overconsumption. No? So here, a little summary. Basically, point one, humans exploit nature beyond recovery. Climate change, which is a consequence of this exploitation, harms human health. And the planetary health movement works to reintroduce harmony and hope. We speak from this city, Porto Alegre, Brazil. It's at the border of a beautiful lake. It used to be a very nice place to live. It's in the southernmost part of Brazil, global south. So very different from most of you, except Martin. I don't know who else is from the global south. And what happened? We had a big flood, much worse than the previous flood we had in 1941. I'm going to stop the presentation here for 1 minute because I want Ovidio and I to tell you how impacting that was for us. And it was a flood that took over almost 1/3 of our city and 1/3 or more of our state, the big state, which is in terms of territory, equivalent to Belgium, for instance. There is one friend that is from Belgium, and 1/3 of it was flooded. And worse than that, it wasn't a flood that came and took everything out, but went away. No, it stayed for almost 1 month. So everything that was underwater was rotten and was lost. Ovidio and I live in a higher part of town, and I wasn't at home at the time. I was traveling. A friend from Bahia that is here, Ana Lage, and she was my host, and she was lovely. I couldn't come back home for 3 weeks. So, because the airport was underwater for 1 month. So, and I came through the Uruguay, remember, Ovidio? I had to fly to Uruguay and then. So even those of us that were not directly impacted by the flood were terrified of seeing what was happening to other people. 180 more people died, and the loss in terms of economic loss was much worse, with land loss terrible. And our state, for some reason, there is a corridor that comes from the Amazon. And this corridor, it brings with it very often now big tempests, we say, and cyclones. So our climate has changed maybe more than in many other places in the world. You want to add something, Ovidio?
Well, I was alone in the apartment, and for about 3 weeks, we had to buy potable water from water trucks because the pump stations that distribute water to the higher parts of town where we are were not working because they were underwater, right? So was a complete disaster. Very even though you didn't have water near you, all your life was changed. And but what I think I want to say is that the tremendous amount of solidarity. This is well studied in sociology, and I can ask a question: why after the solidarity that people show during crisis, after the crisis passes, people go to business as usual, right? But during this crisis, thousands of people were helping. A lot of private boats were really saving people's lives. And for example, thousands of people in shelters, but not enough mattresses. So knowing that Olga would agree, I took all the extra mattresses that we usually have at our home that we use when the grandchildren come. And with thousands of people, we donated all the extra mattresses because that's what people needed, right? The most important thing, water and mattresses to sleep on the shelters. So, but Olga, I think you should go on because we just wanted people to know that we were personally affected by this uh, trauma. We are survivors of a big flood, and I, for example, now that when I have to go someplace and there is a forecast of maybe big rain, I stay home because streets get very easily flooded. So it still continues us to have to deal with those issues.
So there we have a little couple conflict because I tend to be more. I am less traumatized. I wasn't there. So anyway, let's go on. We have to laugh a little, no? We cannot only talk about tragedies. Okay, David, are you seeing my presentation? Hope so. So,
Yes, thank you.
okay. So climate, humans hurt climate, but climate hurts us back. What's going on? It's not. Okay. We learned with David the first day that possibly two main lessons come from this age. We need to live a simpler life and we need to build strong communities. And from Chris last week, we learned that connection is the healing. And I would add reconnection with nature, with oneself, and with community. And being a psychiatrist, I would say that good connection, it's not enough to be connected. Maybe even the ones that are exploiting nature the most are the ones that are the most connected to nature. So they are connected, but in a negative way. And I'm saying that because I spent my academic life trying to understand connections between families, no, the relationships in families, and how the quality of the relationship, the harmony, the love is what makes good bonds for good development in families. And it's the same with nature. We are nature. Humans are nature. So planetary health is it's not a new field in health science. It's an evolution of modern medicine, let's say. In old ages, the family physician would be very aware of the environment of its client. He would go to the home, he would take care of the person inside the community. Then our super specialized, fantastic medicine that did many good things started to center on the individual. But then years later, it became clear that the social, economic factors and the environmental, natural factors in the community were very important for good health or bad health. And let's say in the last 30 years, global health has started to show how globally, internationally, it is important to understand how the health system is unequal. It doesn't really take care systemically of what the problems are. And as a consequences, we have what One Health brings in the last 10, 20 years, 20 years more. And then in the last 10 years, Planetary Health has come in. So One Health was started by the veterinarians, showing that our human health is directly dependent. It's codependent with the health of the animals. And we saw that with COVID-19, that there was a disarrangement of the environment, and most likely this virus came from some animals. I think it was a monkey, probably. So One Health emphasizes this synergy between human health and animal health. And when Planetary Health comes in 10 years ago, we are celebrating 10 years now of the first big article that introduced the concept, financed by the Rockefeller Foundation. So those big guys, they do good things also. And so the Rockefeller Foundation and The Lancet, which is probably the most important medical journal nowadays. I'm sorry for the New England Journal of Medicine, because The Lancet has developed a lot lately. They introduced the idea that everything in the planet is interlinked. It's kind of obvious, but it's something that needed to be said, said, that our health depends on the rivers, on the wind, on the heat or the not heat that we have. And that's what we're living very strongly nowadays. So we are in this state of chaos and of fear. But in medicine, we know that we have the means to promote very good health conditions. For instance, if we organize well and this was the theme of my doctorate thesis, how to protect breastfeeding, human breastfeeding, so that it protects the building of the parent-child relationship, and how this needs to be harmonic with the community conditions. So we know this. We have good technology, let's say, to build good human conditions. We know that our medicine has to be patient-centered, but family-oriented. It has to have continuity. The access needs to be easy. The care needs to be comprehensive, and there needs to be coordination of care. And to go from family medicine to the specialties when necessary, with the coordination of the family doctor, with cultural competence and Planetary Health as our larger framework. In Brazil, we have we call it SUS, health unit system that is there in about 60% of our country, and is organized in that way. It is not very well funded, but the way of organization is this. So we know what to do well in medicine, but although we know, the health system is responsible for more than 4% of the global carbon dioxide emissions. So if it was a country, the health system would be the fourth or the fifth, I'm not sure, worst in carbon dioxide emissions. So medicine did many good things. It increased life expectancy. Thanks to that, I'm here, because I'm already beyond what is supposed to be the normal age in my country. We have less poverty, and we have less children dying. But for that, we did terrible things to the environment. And so we increased the CO2 the names come in Portuguese. Well, anyway, there is more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. There should be, and that's the reason for our heating. No, at this time, the acidifications of the oceans, the loss of the tropical forest, the bad water use. So we are now, there is a call out to call our attention that we may be going backwards in these things that we had achieved. So what do we know about the impact on human health? One of them that now it's very much talked about is eco-anxiety. And one thing we need to ask ourselves is, do we feel eco-anxiety? And those videos talked about our eco-anxiety that increased after the flood here in our place. And we need to ask ourselves if it is normal, because by DSM-5, which is, the Bible of psychiatrists and psychologists too, a little, no, Martin? If anxiety is lasts for more than 15 days, and if it goes beyond the threshold that you cannot feel comfortable every day, that means it's pathological. But the question is, shouldn't we recognize our eco-anxiety, and that would be a motor to help us act on that? Something to talk about later. There was a very interesting study published in 21 that included 10,000 young people all over the world, and 59% of them said they were very worried with climate issues, to the point that 45% of them said that it affected them daily. So isn't that normal? If 45% of the youngsters are feeling it, it's a new state of being. As Ovidio said, we are not living normal days. So isn't anxiety a normal feeling during this time? And those kids talked about feeling betrayed by their governments, which means feeling betrayed by their parents also, and which is a huge problem. In talks I've given, some young medical students saying that they cannot talk about what they really think at home. They cannot eat what they think they should be eating because the family doesn't believe that those things should change. And beware, it is more than only the climate. We need to pay attention to planetary boundaries. planetary boundaries mean all that we've been talking about, the sea, the water, the soil use, the lack, the loss, I mean, the loss of biodiversity, and so on. In 2009, when the group from Stockholm, Sweden, started to study that, there were 3 boundaries that had been already breached. One was biodiversity, the other were the flows of phosphate and nitrogen, mostly due to the fertilizers, the soil contamination, and climate change was already showing that it was beyond what it should be. In 2015, 4 boundaries, and 2000, you can see the year, and I don't remember if it was 2023, 6 boundaries. And now if you go to their site, there is a 7th boundary of the 9 already being crossed. So go to this stockholmresilience.org to follow the evolution of how we're crossing the boundaries that need to be respected in the planet. So back to human health. Heat. We've already reached 1.5 degrees Celsius increase, which was what we shouldn't have reached before 2030, according to the Paris Agreement. So it's very, very serious what we are doing. And the heat, we know, increases morbid mortality from all causes: cardiac, pulmonary, renal, and psychiatric. Air pollution. Air pollution is something, as you see here, in the rich countries, only 17% of the cities don't have good quality air. But in the middle and low income countries, only 1% of the cities have good quality air. So that's one of the evidences of the lack of equity. But what we know also, at least what we've measured here in Brazil, is that when there is deforestation in the Amazon, the fumes, the smoke comes all the way down to the southern part of Brazil. Isn't that something that happens elsewhere, that air pollution also goes up? Or maybe not. Maybe everything comes down to the south. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to this question. So in 2018, there were 7 million deaths because of air pollution, with very good studies of large population groups that due to PM 2.5, which is those very tiny particles that enter our nose, our mucosa, and invade our body, we do become sick from that. So there is an increase in acute problems, myocardial infarction, AVCs, the beginning of cancers, depression, and about 1 year ago, 2 articles that really scared me were published, one Chinese and one American. And if you want, later I can send you the showing that suicides increase when pollution increases. And that shows what? That is something acute. That's something that certainly penetrates crosses the blood-brain barrier that we thought protected our brain so well. And that has been proved now also to happen with plastics, with nanoplastics. Plastics are not recyclable. They become nanoplastics and they go to our body. Pesticides provoke endocrine disruption, cancer, birth defects, neurological problems, acute and chronic health effects. Droughts and floods, we talked about our experience already. They cause immediate death, but they cause illnesses and increase of infections, etc. They provoke population dislocations with social disorganizations, relational losses. People lose their landscapes, lose their communities. And of course, there are many mental health consequences. And there is hunger, thirst, contagious diseases with all the consequences to physical health and to mental health. And at least in the global south, pollution knows no borders. I'm kidding with you that are in the north north of the globe, and I know that you all here, you are not responsible for that, I don't think, but that's the way it is, the global distribution of the problems nowadays. So the countries that were the most responsible for air pollution are the ones that suffer the less from that, as I said before. So we need, one of the things that Planetary Health says is that we need more equity. We need to equilibrate the wealth. And this is another problem, plastics, that recently has become more so evident that the role the planet is covered by plastic. I was recently 5,000 meters up in the Titicaca Lake in Bolivia, Peru, Bolivia, in the middle of South America, and 5,000 meters up there was plastic around the lake. I was offended by that. So for mental health, what are the worst climate problems? Heat waves that increase anxiety, depression, suicides, and interpersonal violence. This is well studied. Air pollution that increases dementia, depression, anxiety, and suicides, as I said. Droughts and floods, and the increased temperature per se changes the equilibrium of the infectious diseases. And it's important for those of us that may be under psychiatric medications. The psychiatric medication decreases the capacity of adaptation to heat. So we may have more problems with adaptation. So what is planetary health then? It is a solutions-oriented international transdisciplinary field and social movement that analyzes and addresses the impacts of destabilized natural systems on human health and all life on Earth. It aims at achieving the highest attainable standard of health, well-being, and equity worldwide through the judicious attention to human systems, political, economic, and social. that are the ones that shape the future of humanity and of Earth's natural systems, which are the ones that define the safe environmental limits within which humanity can flourish. So we are all responsible for not so much for doing individual things, because I think in this group, most of the people are doing individually what can be done. And in terms of community, this is one effort, the one we are into these 5 weeks, but also socially, no, to reach mitigation and adaptation, because unfortunately, prevention is over already. So we have to work in micropolitics, in our individual, family, community, and profession. And we do need to work in macro politics. Here, I'm not going to go through all this cascade of events that start with overconsumption, the way our economy is organized, overconsumption of energy and coming from fossil fuel, and everything that it causes globally that ends up in the health problems. We could spend a lot of time on that, but it's interesting to see it's a systemic problem. So this is the last call for action of the Planetary Health Alliance, which is the global organization that is developing this field of planetary health. It happened in Kuala Lumpur in 2024, and it says, in the vast tapestry of our interconnected world, planetary health encompasses the well-being of our planet's ecosystems, the health of its inhabitants, and the delicate balance that sustains life. Planetary health is a global movement, analytical framework, and field of work focused on understanding, quantifying, and addressing the growing human health impacts of anthropogenic global environmental change. So we can, I think, stop here, because there are necessary changes. We need many of the actions we can do, that we need active transportation. We need to change this kind of food into this. And only that already, gives a big impact on the world. And we can become like Greta Thunberg. If I was young, maybe I would. And so thank you very much. I stop here.
Okay, thank you, Olga, very much. Before we go into the breakout rooms and to introduce the prompt for the groups, I want to say that Olga and I are good examples of how slowly we became more involved with climate activism. You know, about 10 years ago, every place we would go to have a drink and we received a plastic straw, Olga would ask to talk to the manager to explain that how bad that was for the planet. And in the beginning I was uncomfortable, oh, there she goes again, but I really thank her, because now I am the one doing this. When I see someone, I have the patience to go and say, we have recyclable straws. And, I say this because straws are all over. Maybe you are luckier than us in Brazil. We still have a lot of plastic straws, right? And like most of you, I think we diminish red meat. We take public transportation. And in our work, we had a very large school of psychotherapy. And people had plastic cups, water dispenser with plastic cups. And, every day, hundreds of plastic going away. So we took a whole afternoon to have a transition ritual where every professional got a glass cup and they painted their glass cup with colors and their names. So that was very interesting. People are very available for this. The secretaries complained a lot that they had to clean the cups because half the people forgot to wash their cups after, using it. So, and everybody has limits. I have a nephew who his first child about 6 years ago, I saw him tremendous effort not to use disposable diapers. He went to the old way we were raised or raised our children. But, not everybody can do that. This is the same boy when he was 20 years ago. He used to drive a car with cooking oil, fuel cooking oil. Have you ever been in a car with cooking oil? Boy, it's interesting. The smell, you feel like in the mountain of French fries. But, he was like a radical activist and he still is. So the prompt for the groups is this. Due to the present gravity of the situation, are we able or should we be able to get out of our present comfort zone and do more than we have already been doing? That's the prompt. It's changing my life, the series here, because I saw in my son's house, always saw lots of Amazon packages, lots. So I decided I'm going to talk to him. Why so many Amazon packages? And this is the type of thing that I'm suggesting. Because we live with like-minded people, so it's not so easy to try to influence a relative or a friend. But I believe there is a lot that we still can do. So I asked Chloe now to have us in groups, and then we come back here to have the final part of the meeting.
Say we do not have much time for more sharing because we're just 4 minutes before the end of our session here. And
Right.
I would like to have a couple of words on next session, but before that, yeah, we could maybe just have 1 or 2 minutes of impressions from the breakout groups. I already heard you say, Olga, it was a deep sharing and exciting discussion. So maybe we'll have 2, 3 short resonances on what not what happened in the groups, but how was it for you to be there? So we have that time. What do you think, Martin? Okay, like that?
That sounds good to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Could I suggest if there's something that came up that they really want to share, that this is a good opportunity for that. That's what I'd suggest anyway.
And while you're still thinking, Lumi is having her hand up and Seshin too. Thank you, the two of you. But I want to remind us that we also have that EcoSattva community room on the Hive. So we can also share impressions or afterthoughts there, just as a reminder. So go, Lumi and Seshin, please.
Thank you. So I was energized by the great diversity of ideas that were discussed in our group from all corners of the earth, well, many corners of the earth. And yeah, they were really stemming from Olga's wonderful presentation and how we're all affected in so many different ways by this current ecological catastrophe situation that we're facing. And we talked about everything from the individual level. And like personally, I feel like my dollars are my votes in this culture. So what we spend money on, what we don't spend money on, it has a political influence. So we went from there all the way up to being political activists and working directly in a political way. And one of our group members also attended that big rally with Bernie Sanders and AOC, and expressed how there was such a degree of anger there it sounded pretty alarming actually, because people want immediate results, want immediate action, but we need to have more sustained action for any kind of meaningful change to happen, and not if we're too aggressive in demanding immediate action, that can also have the opposite effect. So anyhow, we talked about a lot, but yeah, thanks for the opportunity to reflect.
We maybe have time for one more comment, if someone would like to do that before we go over a little bit about next session. Okay, it looks like, well, why don't we go ahead and Kathleen, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's happening next time?
I would, but I just saw Caroline's hand kind of raising. So would you like to say something?
Thanks. I took notes on some of the slides before, Olga, and you had one that started with the patient, then it went to family, then culture, then community, and then I think it went to planet, but I didn't get that part. But I am finding it fascinating that went from family to culture first and then community. And I don't know if that's too big of a question to speak to, because I would have thought community before culture, but maybe it doesn't work that way.
What we say, Carolyn, is that our relationship with the family, the individual too, has to go through culture. We need to communicate in a way that the culture of the patient understands what we're saying now. So that's what's meant. Culture sensitive, and to work at all levels, in fact. Thank you for your question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we'll have 2 more sessions in this series, and next Thursday we'll use the practice of counsel as a sharing and listening practice, listening deeper, listening with the heart, from the heart. I'll introduce it for if maybe there are people who are new to counsel. And before that, there will be a little introduction and presentation concerning the space, the place beyond hope, beyond the hope to fix it, that we can fix it all. And as the data that you presented today, Olga, show us that, especially concerning the boundaries, the tipping points, the crossing the boundary points, shows us that maybe it's not easy to just fix it, all of it, and go back to normal in a way. So what's in that space beyond the hope of everything might become as it was before? We'll explore that a bit with some thoughts that I offer in the beginning, and then we will do a special version of counsel, because we're too many actually to be in one circle. So, and I guess we won't do breakouts. There will be a special way of doing counsel there. And I hope to see you again.